Okay, Lisa, we are live. Hopefully everybody hears us okay.
Hey, hey, Chi Chi fam.
I just need to do something real quick. That way we could get the ball rolling. How was your day so far, though?
It's been crazy busy, Chia. Crazy,
Oh,
crazy.
yeah?
Yeah, I mean, trying to squeeze everything in and everything like that. Holidays, right? It's great.
Yeah.
Um, but it's a different time because usually it's much slower during this time for our industry, right, Chia?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, your people are coming to me too, Chia.
I know. They're reaching out right now.
Yeah.
Refinancing, interested in what? Buying again, going through all that jazz, right?
All that jazz. Everybody was like, "Oh, what's the rate? What's the rate? What's the rate? What's the rate?" And I was like, "Okay, here we go. Here we roll
That's
again."
that's what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, Shane? How you doing, bro? We're ready for you too, man. It's good to see you. You remember Chang, right, Lisa?
Yep.
Yeah. He's from Fresno. You were
I,
winging it.
yeah, I know. And when we do it at the later times, we usually get to see Chang and the normal crew.
I know, I know. It's okay. Work with us, okay, Chichi fams? I'm glad you guys are here. But I have a few topics to talk about today, Lisa.
Yay! Yay! Yay!
Um,
Yay. Let's roll it.
yeah, some articles, maybe like two articles. But first, of course, let's just go over some market update with everybody, and then we could get the show on the road. Let me just share the screen real quick. Let's see how this week is doing so far. Man, that inventory right there. Mm-mm-mm. It's going down, down, down. See, look, just from last week, 6% drop. New listings are higher by 53%. Sold home is higher. Pending homes are high, which is good. But look, from last month, inventory is down this month, 22%. New listing is down 32%. Sold homes are down 10%. Pending homes are up though, 22%. Okay, so these need to go sold so that this could go up. And same time last year, December, we have more inventory this year, like almost 50% more. New listings are down 2% this year. But sold homes are higher this year than last, and pending homes are a lot higher this year than last year. Year to date, we have more inventory, 19% more new listings this year than last year, more sold home this year by 6% than last year, and more pending homes by 8% more this year than last year. There you go. Average price per square foot, no change from last week. But from last month, it's down this month by 5%. From last year, same time, it is up by 1.9%. And year to date this year, it's up 3%. Going to the days on the market. This is how long it takes for a home to go off the market. And this week, it's about on average 34 days on average versus last week it was 35. So 1 day difference, not much. But this month compared to last month, it's again no difference. 36 days this month on average. Last month it was 35. Same time last year, it's 6 days longer for a home to get off the market than it was last year. It was 30 days. But this year on average, it was 30 days year to date for a home to go off the market. Last year was 31. Again, no change. Okay. The only difference is just rates are higher and prices are higher. But the activity, everything's a lot higher. If you guys, as you guys can see from the data. All right. So if anybody's telling you guys that it's slow, it feels
Mhm.
slow, but it's not slow, as you guys can see. Okay. Let's go over the sold price and active price. This week, active price is 691. Last week it was 685. Average sold price this week went up 619 versus 610. And from last month, active price, there's no change, but sold price went down this month by 4%. And look, same time last year, this month, this year is actually higher, almost 9%. And last year to date compared to this year, we are up 4.5%. So if anybody's telling you guys prices are a lot lower this year than last year, they're lying to you. They're not looking at data like we're showing you guys right here. I didn't make up these numbers. It was all generated through like the amount of sales that's going on, and they track everything. So these are the numbers. All right, 4.5%, y'all. 4.5%.
So I'm going to add something to that, okay, Chia?
What's up? Go for it.
I'm not surprised because actually last year the interest rates were higher than they were this year. On average, on the
True.
last year during December, it's roughly about 7.5%. Right now, okay, we'll take a look at it later. But as you can see, it did not drop a whole percent, and already where inventory is almost 10%, right, Chia? So imagine that all you guys that are waiting for the rates to drop down even more so, that wasn't even 1 point. So that just reiterates why, if when interest rates drop, which is a wonderful thing, but once the house is gone, the house is gone. Don't wait for that to happen.
Yeah, I was just talking to a client earlier, and he's been waiting for over 4 years, right?
We have so many
And
of them, right, Chia?
yeah, and he's like, man, I'm just so tired of waiting. And then the other thing he also mentioned too is everybody's hearing that rates is going down next year, right? Because Trump's gonna get inaugurated into the office and all that, and most likely rates are probably gonna come down. And then I told him, if rates go down, price is gonna go up, competition is gonna go up. 'Cause everybody is waiting for rates.
Right.
So, did you want to buy in today's market with today's price? Yes, the rate's a little bit high, but you can always refinance when you get the home. And he also looked at it from a different standpoint. He's like, I don't even want to compete with people right now. If there's gonna be more competition when rates go down, screw it. It probably makes more sense to just pull the trigger now, so that way I don't have much competition. And that's true. Sometimes your time is probably more valuable than saving a few bucks here and there. So there's a lot of things to consider right now. Right now
Absolutely.
is getting cold. Everybody's kind of like halting the buying process because of the holidays and because of New Year's, because of income tax season coming around the corner, all of that. So right now is like the best time to like negotiate and get your offers going with not a lot of competition. Homes are sitting right now on the market this time around. You know,
Yes and no, right, Chia? We talked about the price point and everything
yeah.
like that. And I've been super busy in the last 2 weeks, and more so this week with my buyers who are actually getting outbidded. I have 6 clients right now, this week alone, that got outbidded 6, 7, 8 times already. So I mean, one of my clients, Bay Area one
They're
guy,
probably
sorry.
buying the 500K range, huh?
Well, yes, some of them, yes, Chia, but some of them are Bay Area, so no. Some of them are
Well,
1.3
yeah,
ranges.
yeah, there's always competition going on right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so
So,
that's just a different market.
yeah.
We're not even gonna talk about that market. Majority of our listeners are like buying here locally, So
Oh, look at that. Cheng was saying how, like, yes, he finally got 3 of his friends to buy with the last few months, and they said it's the best thing ever. Good for you, Cheng. Good for you.
yeah, I mean like because
Finally.
you're paying somebody's mortgage, might as
Uh-huh.
well make it yours, So that way you can start forcing that saving account, because equity build, appreciation, all of that, So
Yeah,
that's cool,
I
man.
know. I know. Chi Sam, don't make me and Chia sound like a broken record. We say this
I
all the
know.
time.
We say that a lot, but it's because we see a lot.
Yes,
We
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 do.
do see a lot. We hear a lot of clients that reach out to us and say, "Man, why did I wait so long?" Things like
No,
that. So it's just,
it breaks
of
our
course, it's
heart.
of course it's timing. It's timing for everybody. I get it, but
Yeah.
if you could pull the trigger, right now there's not a lot of competition. Okay, right now is the time to do it.
Well, there's less competition. I wouldn't say there
Less
isn't any.
competition. There
Less
is some, but it's less. If you wait till
Correct.
rates drop, I guarantee you it's nothing compared to right now's competition. Okay, you're gonna be like coming out with money that you thought was gonna be for a rainy day is gonna be for your home.
Yeah.
So, look, Charles, you're on the chat, but you're not on the live. What's up? I'm just messing with you, man. It's been very busy for us too, all the way into Christmas already. People
Yep.
are still buying and selling for sure. Yeah. See, Charles, if you guys don't know, Charles is a home inspector. He's normally on these live streams, so I don't know why he's on the other end of the table today, but he's probably out inspecting. He's probably on the top of the roof right now, commenting on this video. But yeah, he's a home inspector. So if anybody knows if it's busy or not, it's Charles. He's out there inspecting homes and all that. It's hecka cold right now too. Gosh, Charles. Especially right now, if you are on the top of a roof. Okay,
Oh yeah.
months with inventory. Look at that. We're just gonna go straight here. It's more accurate. About 2.1 month worth of inventory. That's a little bit more accurate than what we saw last week. Compared to last month, 2.4. You know, I know you guys see 2 months and you're like, yeah, we got way more inventory than last year. Yes, we do. But it's not enough to drastically change the market direction. Okay. It's not going to go into a buyer's market anytime soon. All right.
Mm-mm.
Again,
Mm-mm.
broken record until you guys see
Mm-mm.
46 months consistently, then the direction of the real estate market will probably be happening already. All right.
So Gia, consistently for how long?
I'd say a good 6 months straight. Six
Yes.
months straight of at least 4 to 6 months worth of inventory.
Yes. I
And
mean,
you're start also seeing the prices even start
mhm,
like going down too or leveling out. Like
right.
right now you guys see this red line? It's the sold price.
Right.
For the
I
past
want
couple of months,
that.
it's
Yeah.
like up and down, but it's still trending up if you're looking at it, right?
Right.
So until
I
it
wanted
starts
you to
trickling
reiterate that
down,
because, it's 6 months, you guys, right? 6 months. I wanted you to reiterate that and just remind our audience that, hey, if you start seeing it up and everything like that, then it's that consistency that you really have to look for in order for the market to truly change. It's
yeah,
gonna be a while, is my point.
it is. It is. It ain't happening yet. And look, if you guys look
Yeah.
at the like past year, right? If you guys look right here, it's been 1 month, 2 month, 1.8, 1 month. We just barely started going into like the 2 months, like in like last month, like in September, started hitting the
Mhm.
2 month range in September, and it's still going back down below it. It's not consistent. It needs to be
Yep.
consistent.
Right. Right.
Chain is like, I don't get paid to say all this. I'm a small investor. Yeah, he's a small investor in Fresno. I'm not paying him to say any of this. Lisa's not paying him to say any of this. I see the part of being a homeowner. Go bye bye bye. Yeah, because like I'm glad you mentioned that too. He's a small time investor, but he started out probably buying his own home to live in, and then going from there, probably renting that first home out, and then buying a second home to replace his primary, and he just kept doing that. So that's how most small investors do it. They buy their first home to live in for a couple years and then they rent it out. They don't sell it, they rent it out. And then they use a portion of that rental income to help them buy a second home. And then they move out and they just keep doing that, you know?
Right. So, touching on that, right, Tia, this is the reason why, okay, it's not going to turn either because people who are doing this and they're keeping their property, but they want to buy another property, and now the inventory is even lower. It continues
Yep.
to be lower. And when that rates drop and everything like that, and the pool of buyers continue to increase much more so, right? And we talk about this to give incentives to sellers to sell. That's really what it is, right? Don't force Chang and people like Chang to have to do a 1031 exchange. Free it up. Free it up.
And that's the inventory, y'all. This year, on average, year to date, it's like 1.6 month. See, that's very low. Last year, it was 1.1. So, yes, we do have more inventory this year, but again, it's not enough to change the direction of the market. All right. Let's go over to mortgages, huh?
Yeah.
Mortgages. Let's do it. All right, look at that.
So midday came in and rates did go up a little bit, but as you can see, it's at 6.80, right? And
Hmm.
last week, I believe we were at what, 6.83? So up or down, it's not that huge of a
Yeah,
variance. Okay. So
it's
if you're
not.
waiting, again, when rates start to go up, it goes up a lot faster. And when it starts to go down, it starts to go
It's
down a lot slower. Okay.
yeah.
Don't wait. That's the point. Don't wait.
Yeah, so conventional fixed 6.8, 15 fixed 6.0, jumbo loans are 7.0, ARM is 6.6, FHA is 6.1, VA is 6.1. Those are the rates as of right now. Right
Mhm.
now, okay, it is what 7:15 p.m. So as of 7:15 p.m., those are the rates right now. Okay. One thing I keep getting asked is the rates are, for example, somebody will probably call in and be like, it's at 6.6 FHA, and they lock it in a week later and it's at, let's just say, 6.5. And they're saying, is that lender trying to upsell them? No. Remember, rates change like the stock market. They're always different. If you see the rates today at 6.16 and it takes you about a week to 2 weeks to lock in your rate later because you took a while to submit your documentations to your loan officer, your lender, and then they're now able to lock it in, it's not going to be what you see right here. It's
Right.
going
And
to change.
on top of that, unlike stocks, okay, your rates is also based on how much you put down, okay? And then also how, if you're refinancing, then how much equity that you have. If it's an investment property or a primary residence, that makes a difference. And the number one key is your credit score.
Everything has a factor, okay?
Hmm.
So timing and everything that Lisa just said.
Hmm.
Because I keep getting people saying to me, Lisa, that's why I reiterated that so many times, because I keep getting people say, you said the other day on your live stream that it's at 6.1. And then I just try to lock it in and it's different. It's like, when did you watch my live stream and and how long ago did you wait to lock? It's gonna
Right.
change, you know?
Yeah. And like,
So,
it's so volatile that it's changing on a daily basis. And sometimes, even when I'm trying to lock in for my clients, I was like, okay, let me know right now. And then sometimes it'll take them an hour or two to respond to me. And by that time, rates have already changed. It's been changing 3, 4 times a day.
yep. And that's normal. Okay.
Yep.
Nobody's manipulating the market. It's not part of a
Right.
scam. Nothing like that. Your lender's not trying to upsell you on anything. It's really how it works. It's gonna change. It's very volatile. Okay. Saying like no one is going to sell if they have a 3% or lower rate. My first home in 2017 was close to 6. I refied in the low threes when it dropped during COVID. Yeah, a lot of people did, and that is the
Mhm.
issue. Is like what Lisa said. There's no incentives for sellers that has that 3%, high 2% rates. And why are they gonna sell and buy a home that's in the 6.6, 6.8 right now? For them,
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense unless they're downgrading and they have so much equity from their sale that they're using a large chunk of that to buy down the rate or put down to make the payments similar to that home.
Right. And that's the thing too, right? When you have the rate at 3%, it's so much easier to say, hey, I'm going to keep the house because I'm going to cash flow. The interest rate is so low, right, Chang? And then
Yep.
on top of that, right, let's just say, wouldn't you be more incentivized to say, hey, well, I got a really low rate if the lender is, if assumable loans are assumable, then why can't they be grandfathered to the next house? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
The numbers make
Ooh,
sense. If
that'd
you
be so cool.
it's then it frees it up a little bit. It frees it up a little bit more. I'm just saying, give sellers the incentive too.
Speaking of COVID, right? Our next topic, the article I want to kind of go over, it's about COVID. Okay, so
Mm.
I guess it seems like Realtor.com, they did like this one thing where they're mentioning that young Americans that bought their homes during COVID, They're gonna be 2025's biggest sellers. So I'm curious to see that article with you.
Interesting. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So that's the title right here, Young Americans. So oh, what is going on? Okay, young Americans who bought their homes during COVID could account for surprisingly large shares of home sellers in the coming year, as boomers have owned their homes for decades, mostly refusing to sell. A new survey finds among current homeowners, nearly 1 in 5 say they plan to sell their home next year, according to the results released on Wednesday by Bright MLS. Although people who purchased their home in the past 5 years accounted for just 24% of homeowners, they made up 32% of those who plan to sell in 2025. Homeowners in their 30s, 40s will be the most active group of sellers in 2025, with 27% of owners aged 30 to 39 and 28% homeowners aged from 40 to 49, indicating they expect to sell in the coming year. By comparison, just 10% of older homeowners plan to sell. Okay. Record low mortgage rates during the pandemic were a huge incentive for individuals and families. Many of these buyers also have been able to quickly accumulate significant equity, true, in their homes as home prices have escalated. In November, national median list price was up 37% from the same month 5 years ago. This wealth gain has created financial security for this group of homeowners and is also allowing them to be move up buyers even in today's relatively high interest rate environment. Realtor.com forecast notes that the market is shifting from a strong seller's market to one in which buyers and sellers have more balanced market power. As a result, sellers will need to price carefully to attract buyers, especially in markets where affordability is an issue, says Realtor.com. That's true. Affordability is always like the number one marketing right now for listings. Hell adds that while there's potential for a favorable market for sellers, the overall landscape will depend largely on how economic conditions, rates, and housing supply evolve over the first few months of the year. Homeowners say family and career changes are top reasons to sell. Okay. The survey found that homeowners in their 30s and 40s who are planning to move, 30% have a mortgage with a rate below 4, like what Ching said, and more than two-thirds have a rate below 5%. Rates have currently averaged between 6.6 and the Realtor.com economic team forecast they will continue to average 6% through the end of 2025. Again, that's just a forecast. If you guys were here last week, me and Lisa kind of went over predictions for 2025. That might not happen. It could happen, but it's just a forecast. Okay, remember, keyword forecast. It means that many families who plan to move will do so regardless of race. The survey found that the traditional reasons of family and career were the main in and was the main motivation, I guess, for moving among younger owners who plan to sell. Okay, so I think you brought this up like a while back, right, Lisa, where you said that a lot of those people that bought or refinanced during that time, or even these past couple of years, are going to be the one that's going to be selling a lot because now insurance is up,
Yep.
right? And a lot of those buyers use 3-in-1 buy downs, and because rates haven't been favorable, they haven't been refinancing, so they're forced to go back to the traditional rate, which last year, like you mentioned earlier, is higher than this year. And so some of those buyers are probably forced to sell their home now because the 3-in-1 buy down is coming due, and they
Right.
don't want to refinance because it doesn't change anything because there's still closing costs part of the refinance that they don't have money to put in, so they're just selling because they have a little bit of equity.
Right. Exactly. And that's the thing too. It's a a hard pill to swallow when you find out that, hey, if you refinance, there's not enough equity, so you're gonna bring in a little bit more money, right? Or there is some and everything like that, but it doesn't make sense because again, the home insurance, everything has risen, even property taxes starting to come
Mhm.
up more. It used to not change on an annual basis, but even my own, because property taxes just due yesterday, right? You look at it, I was like,
Yeah.
man, that's another $200. It's another this, it's another that. And luckily, it's not as big of a gap as insurance, but it doesn't make homeowners feel any better because at the end of the day, a squeeze is a squeeze, whether or not it comes from property tax or home insurance.
Yeah. I
The
think
other,
this is true too.
yeah, the
People are
other
moving
thing,
because of career and all that.
yeah.
What would you say?
The other thing too to note too, guys, okay, because I have clients that are English is their second language, so I come in and help them on even after the loan closes and everything like that. And you know, one of the things that I'm gonna say is don't ever depend on other people's competency in anything, okay? And one of the things is if you have mortgage insurance, and if your home is if you've accumulated at least 22% in equity, technically it's supposed to be removed, okay? And this is where I want you to know, pay attention to your mortgage statements. Pay attention to that, because if it's not automatic and you don't call in to remove that, that's something that could also save you guys money too, especially those of you who put in only 3 or 5% down and that mortgage insurance is well above $150. That could save you some too. So definitely look at that. I've actually had a client that had that built over almost 50% of equity, and I'm pissed for them because I'm calling in on their behalf and saying,
They're
hey,
paying
what's
they're paying all that mortgage insurance.
right, what's up with this, right? And you have to understand too, guys, as loan officers, we are the front line. Okay, we don't handle any of the operational side, especially when your mortgage gets sold off to another servicing mortgage company.
Yeah.
And most lenders
And it
sell it off
happens
to
a
another
lot.
mortgage servicing company. And those of you guys that have been homeowners for a while, you see sometimes it's been sold 2, 3, 4 times. Okay, and it's going to continue to be that way. The way that, sometimes us as consumers flip homes, lenders flip loans. Okay. So in that situation, sometimes when it exchange hands, they may not communicate in a way that you think that they would. So therefore, make sure that that's being taken care of for you, help you save some money and whatnot.
How long does Chang have to wait to call for a recast or take off PMI?
So the recast is if you put more money into it, okay, it should, depending on the lender, okay, Chang, if it's a recast and you're putting it right away, then it should be pretty much right away. But if it's like the natural process and not actually putting more money into the house and it's naturally going to fall off, typically you have to have the loan for 2 years and the home has to have at least 20% of equity and you can call in to remove it. But if it's 22 percent in equity, then it's supposed to be automatic. But I come to find out for some of my clients, it is not always automatic. So definitely monitor that.
He's only been there for a year, so he has to wait another year.
Yeah.
Another year, Chang. You can do
Another
it.
year
Just
on it.
just keep buying more investment properties to flip.
Hmm.
I see this pretty common too, right here. The most common reason for moving, because family changes, and career change. I have a
Yep.
client, he's planning on selling his all of his California properties because he's relocating to like Reno or Arizona because cost of living is just so much more affordable over there, you know. So, and he doesn't like how these HOAs, insurances, and taxes are all going up, and he's not cash flowing like he used to anymore. So, that's some of the reasons, and a lot of people I know, they're getting, because everybody's kind of trying to implement going back to the office now. No more, not that many work from home anymore. A lot of people are changing careers now because they like that they stayed at home, because
Hmm.
childcare is so expensive. But
Hmm.
when they're at home, it's easier to manage, and still get work done. So a lot of people are making career changes because of those things. And a
Yep.
lot of IT people are also getting let go.
That is true. That is true. And we talked about
So
in a few shows back, right? We talked
yeah,
about this, that I do see inventory going up in the event of these things happening,
yeah,
because they'll be forced to sell. Not that they want to, but they'll be forced to sell.
Yep. And look, boomers are still refusing to sell their homes. Only 6% of homeowners age 60 plus said they were planning to sell their home in 2025. Yeah, why would
Honestly,
they?
because they're smart. Most of them are
That
probably
yeah, most of them don't have no more mortgage.
yeah. And if they really, really need the money, they can just do a reverse mortgage and whatnot and stay put.
Yep.
And
Yep.
realistically, at that age, nobody wants to move. They don't
Yep.
like change,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
Different
unfortunate.
generation. Different
Yeah,
generation.
but I don't blame them. My parents don't want to move. Most of my parents' friends don't want to move either.
Yeah. Only 6% of homeowners age 60% said they were planning to sell.
Yeah,
6%.
and
Among
and
those who do plan to sell, go ahead.
well, realistically, it's just because most of the time when people sell during the retirement ages, it's to downsize.
Yep,
But
right here.
the house of the downsizing is astronomically higher, and now they have to think about the property tax. Well, actually, that one they can migrate it over to the new home. That's fine, but at the same time, they're getting less bang for their buck for what? Right? To downsize, it costs them more to downsize than to not. So why would they do it?
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. Most of them own their home outright. Like 60% of them own their homes outright. There's no mortgage payments anymore. So why would they move? If they do
Right,
move, it's really just to downsize and cash out the next home. That's it.
right, right. And even the senior communities, the 55 and plus communities, it's not that much cheaper for them to do that. Right? It
Yeah.
is cheaper. It is less expensive than a regular area, but it's definitely not less expensive than the current home that they have. Which, by the way, guys, in Arizona, it's actually 45. So there's communities 45 and up.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
I'm around the corner.
You're not even close.
I feel like I'm around the corner.
Stop it.
45? That's so cool.
I
Those
know.
homes are awesome.
So you guys know that I go see my friend often. She lives in Tempe and everything like that. She tells me these things. I was like, yeah, I'm definitely tempted, but oh my gosh, is it hot over there for three
Yeah,
months?
humid and everything, all
No, it's
that.
not humid. It's super dry.
It's
It's
super
super
dry. Oh,
yeah,
really?
because it's kind of desert area, right? So when you walk out, okay, in Minnesota, when you walk out, you can seriously, it is so humid there that you feel like you need to take a shower right away already. That's how it was when I went back to Minnesota. But when I was in Arizona, as soon as you walk out, even if you're wearing clothes, you already feel like you're getting sunburnt.
Oh my God, that dry, huh?
That's super duper dry. Super duper dry.
I think I prefer the humid then.
Me too.
Yeah.
See, Chengfield has the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
sentiment.
45, dude. You and me are around the corner, bro.
No state income tax, Cheng. No state income tax. I don't know why I'm promoting Arizona right now, but yeah. That's where I
Man,
would say if the
Arizona,
boomers were to
45.
sell, yeah, if the boomers were to sell, that's where they would go. They would go to non-state income tax areas and or communities that they can be, less cost.
Well, let's talk about costs, okay? This next article. You
Mm-hmm.
kind of spoke about this a little bit during the elections and all that about some of the plans Trump has. And now that he won the elections and is going to the office in January, these are some of the things that's going on. All right. Trump says he'll make housing affordable again. Here's how to ease the crisis. America needs more new homes and more renovated homes, meaning house flippers change are key. Okay, okay. So, government should support remodeling and repairs for older homes, just as it funds rebuilding highways and other infrastructure.
I like
Okay,
that. I like that.
that's pretty cool. So, President-elect Trump housing policies begin to take shape, and affordability will be top priority. Trump campaign on cutting mortgage rates and reducing regulations for builders at one point, holding a rally in front of a giant sign that said, "Make housing affordable again." Now the serious work of converting campaign promises into government policy begins. The biggest cause of the housing crisis is lack of inventory. And building more homes is clearly a critical part of the equation, but it's a simple math that building alone won't solve this crisis. The shortfall between supply and demand for homes is estimated to top 7 million units, which means that even an ambitious goal of building 3 million more units won't even get us halfway there. But there's another piece to the puzzle that isn't talked about. With so much of the America's housing stock built in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, millions of homes are long past their prime. Improving existing inventory is essential. The government invests in rebuilding highways and other infrastructure. So where is the focus on remodeling housing? That's very interesting, actually. I like that.
I do like
Almost, yeah, that's pretty cool, right? I think that'll be good.
that's pretty cool. Read on, and I'd like to see if he's adding on to the things that I'm already thinking in my head.
Almost two-thirds of U.S. homes were built before 1990. Many need renovation and modernization. The potential of revitalizing aging homes to increase the supply and ease the affordability crisis is enormous. According to 2022 America Community Survey, more than 89 million homes in the U.S. are at least 35 years old, representing 62% of the total housing stock. That's a lot. Many of these
Mm.
homes are in dire need of modernization and renovation. In fact, between 2015 and 2017, almost 2 million homes were removed from the market, 11.8% of which was because they had become uninhabitable. Okay, I didn't know that. There is a largely hidden economy of entrepreneurs across the country working to bring these older homes back online. They are popular, known as flippers. Okay. Though that term has taken on a mixed reputation due to endless cable TV shows that either glamorize or distort the industry. The truth of the house flipping economy isn't glamorous. It's composed of entrepreneurs who turn outdated, often vacant properties into modern, desirable homes. The vast majority of revitalized homes aren't turned into luxury products. They are designed for individuals and families looking for affordable, quality places to live. So, how can the US spur this activity? Here are some ideas. Okay, let's look at some of the ideas. Number one, treat house flipping profits as capital gains. Okay,
Mm.
opportunity zones were created in 2017 to give investors assistance in investing in distressed areas of county. Scott, nominee head U.S. Housing and Urban HUD, is the former director of the White House Opportunity Revitalize Council. Turner worked extensively to advance the Opportunity Zones program. If he and lawmakers are looking to update and expand this economic development tool, they may want to consider incentivizing house flippers in those zones. This would help improve the housing stock while encouraging value creating small businesses. A simple tax incentive could be to treat flipping profits as capital gains instead of the ordinary gains they are normally capital categorized as. What do you think about that, Lisa?
That is a start. That
You flip properties too, right? Or maybe
Yep.
Change here a little bit. Huh? Because Change flips homes, he probably knows a lot more about capital gains and profits, everything that they're talking about right here. So I wonder to all you flippers out there, right, that you're watching this, if this was to happen, would this be a plus? Or would this be like, no, this is something you guys don't want no part of? Like, I am curious to see what you guys got to say about this.
Well, we're gonna get gains. We're gonna get taxed anyway, Chia. So this is
Of
something
course.
that we probably have to ask our tax. You know, you and I had the same tax person who's phenomenal, right? And so I don't know what the difference is because he helps me to write off as much as I possibly can. So I'd have to see what the math looks like from ordinary gains to capital gains
Yeah,
to
that's what I mean. But I would think this would be huge if it's something that has not been done yet.
correct,
And
correct.
why
I mean, if
it's
it really
even
does help
considered.
us, yeah. Because you know how, like, when you flip a property and whatnot, automatically escrow will hold back 33%,
Yep. Because
right?
of
So if it's
all of the
less,
profit and all that. Yeah.
hmm so if it's less, then yeah, we'll see.
But I feel like there's gonna be a little gray area. So capital gains, right?
Hmm
If it's treated as capital gains, what if it was what if there was going to be something different or similar to like a 1031 exchange to where they're deferring the tax
I
of capital
know.
gains?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. If you especially if they're talking about, hey, if they're going to incentivize certain neighborhoods, right? Where flippers like, nah, I don't want to even touch that, right? But if they incentivize it like that, where it is like a 1031 exchange, where you continue to do it at
Just push it
these,
out.
right, very needed neighborhoods, let's call it that, right? Then maybe that will change
Interesting.
the game a little bit more. Now,
Interesting.
once you read on, there's a couple of things I already have in my head with this and whatnot, and I want to see whether or not they're actually going to touch base on that.
Chang or Rory or you guys should tag Tu Feng since he flips a lot of properties to see what he feels about this. He probably deals with this a lot on a daily basis. So I am curious to see what you guys are thinking about all this, flippers.
Right.
All right, let's go to number 2. Expand the Fannie and Freddie mandate. There have been reports of plans to reconsider privatizing Fannie Mae. Oh, okay. And Freddie Mac.
Okay.
Whether or not that occurs, the U.S. may benefit from these companies carving out a portion of their portfolios for structured finance products, including fix and flip loans. Yeah, I would like that. The result would be taking a
Like,
fairly opaque market with a high cost of capital and significantly lowering the cost of a loan, leading to increased investment and more improved homes. How do you
okay.
feel about that? You're in the
Okay.
loan industry.
Okay. Okay, guys. This could be really, really huge because back in the days in 2008, when everything fell and everything like that, when negative arm loans were available, okay, those were meant for these types of investments. It was interest only, right, at a very small monthly payment, so that the investor who's doing the flip does not have to utilize a hard money loan, which can be very, very expensive and goes into the margin and whatnot. If they bring that back and solely for the purpose of fix and flip, because even though it was supposed to be that way, people were utilizing it for primary residences and
Hmm.
doing a lot of fraudulent stuff that they shouldn't be doing. But if they brought that back, that absolutely is going to be a game changer.
Yeah, and
Huge,
just fix the
huge.
guidelines, the policies to make it legit, so that way there's not too much gray areas to where people were doing fraudulent stuff with it. Make it to an actual product because
Oh
this
my gosh,
is
yeah.
really really key.
Yeah, for real. I mean, this would be so, I mean, I don't know how they're going to do it because back in those days, not only were you able to do that type of loan, but it always also was 0% interest. I'm sorry, 0% down payment as well. So if
What
they did
do
something like that,
what does he mean by privatizing?
you know, I understand that term as if it's almost as if they had a separate entity in Fannie and Freddie Mac, right? Where they're doing
Oh, I see.
private loans. That's how
I
I'm
see.
understanding what they're saying.
I think that's
But
what they're saying.
yeah, because
Yeah,
we
creating
we
a
have private
department.
loans. Correct. Create a department where there's totally different types of investors still under the Fannie and Freddie Mac umbrella, but it's a different, set of funds set aside just for that program.
I think that'd be huge.
It's gonna be
How
phenomenal
many
if
times? How
that.
many times do you hear first time in flippers say, "I want to do it, but I don't have the funds," or "I want to do it, I just don't know how," and private money is the only source. It's too expensive, etc., etc. Right? I think this will be huge.
It is, but you know what, Chia? I'm gonna say this, and because I flip properties and everything like that, for brand new flippers, most of the time it's a flop. It's not a flip.
Yeah,
Okay,
but then
and
at least for something like this, I'm pretty sure if they created like its own department to focus on this product to sell to like
yeah,
first time flippers, they're gonna make sure that that flip isn't gonna end up being a flop. Because
yeah,
now, what if these flops end up being defaulted and it's
right,
all over again, right? So I
correct,
think
correct, correct.
they will probably consider that.
So I'm thinking the way that they can, do this better is one, there's got to be some sort of track record. The flipper has to have experience. Okay.
Mm.
I think, and if you don't have experience, you're gonna have to pair up, just like junior investors and whatnot, right? You pair up with somebody that will vouch for you for this, just like having a co-signer or something like that, right? That's
Yeah.
two. And then on top of that, if they actually, here's where they can create jobs too. If they actually had a construction department, particularly for this program, and hire
Ah,
contractors specifically for these
to get
programs,
big,
where,
do
hey,
all that.
you get a salary, these contractors will get a salary so that they treat it like a 9 to 5 job. Hey, you're going to be on this property, on this market, and everything like that. Then I would say, even for first time flippers and whatnot, this sets everybody up for success. It sets Fannie and Freddie Mac up for success, where it's like, okay, we're kind of like helping these first time flippers to also really understand how to really do this. Because the biggest flop for flippers is the contract is the contract construction work. Sorry, yeah, right. They don't know how to. They don't really truly understand how much it really costs for labor, how much it really costs for material, so on and so forth. And just like I tell you guys as my agents, right? It's great that you guys know what you guys know and everything like that. But at the end of the day, it helps you look so much better when you know a little bit more about numbers to help your investors, to help these flippers really know what their average margin is going, their return of investment is going to be. And on top of that, to even cushion, hey, even though the contractor told you it's going to be $100,000, kind of cushion about, another $15,000, $20,000. Even when you buy new construction homes, they start out, this is the base model, but if you want to add the cabinets, this is how much it's going to be. If you want to add this type of floor, this is how much it's going to be. If you want this type of hardware, this is what it's going to be. Now, hardware, all those other things, right? As a flipper, you have to understand where you're flipping your property at. If it is an up and coming neighborhood, the hardware is not going to make any difference on how much you can sell the house for. But if you're looking at luxury real estate, okay, and you're flipping a property and you're buying it for $1 million and you're trying to flip it for $4 million, you better make sure that you
Mm.
have high end hardware in there.
Charles, I think if everybody ensures that the work is done well, you're gonna be out of a job, bro. Nobody's gonna need an inspector anymore because the home is always done well.
Well, to
I'm
ensure that
just
the home
messing
is done well, they got to have Charles come in too,
to
right?
point out, right? To give them pressure.
Correct. Correct. So when the contractor is done and someone like Charles comes in to make all those check marks, or for somebody like Charles to come in first and say, hey, you got to do X, Y, and Z, right? Be proactive instead of
Yeah.
reactive. I think it's, again, it sets everybody up for success and it creates jobs at the same time. And what did Trump say? He says he wants to bring more jobs to America. I hope he's listening to us then.
Well, I am curious to see what number three is gonna be about. Extend SBA loans to flippers. This is actually pretty huge. While the SBA has a range of loan schemes that supports entrepreneurs starting and scaling small businesses, there are no design programs that flippers can use to readily finance their business expenditures, including purchasing and renovating homes. The government supports business-owned real estate and other inventory assets under the SBA. So why not do the same for revitalizing homes? If the SBA were to update the mandate for existing offering or create a new class of loans for this sort of economic activity, then the barrier to entry for flipping would be significantly reduced. These are just three ideas. No doubt countless others exist. Regardless, it's hard to credibly argue that flipping doesn't have a role to play in solving the housing affordability crisis.
I love that they're actually even really talking about this, Gia. This would be so super phenomenal. And really, when I was flipping my properties during COVID, oh my gosh, this would have been so helpful.
I think I think these are some really, really good ideas, right? Again, these are ideas. These are not proposals from the Trump admin. This is from, you know, this is from who is this from? This is from a person, a article that the person that wrote this article, who is it from? It is by Joshua Ernst. I feel like he's probably a investor too. I don't know. I'm gonna look him up, I guess.
Probably because sometimes it takes an investor or somebody that's been doing it for a while to really know how.
Oh yeah, he's a flipper. He's backflip CEO on the resilience of fix and flip models. Okay, yeah, so I guess that's his company, Backflip.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, that's him right there. That's
Oh,
him
that's
right
gonna be
there.
so fun, Chia. Okay.
What? He's probably been doing this for a while. He's out in Texas.
Oh
Interesting.
man. Okay, if they actually implement any of this, Charles Chia, the face of the Chi Chi fam show and everything like that, we gotta get in on this.
This is, I think this will be good, SBA loans, because SBA loans, I don't know if you guys have ever tried to apply for it, you small business owners out there, but it is so huge. It helped out so many business owners during 2020.
Yeah.
Okay. And like, it was like probably one of the number one recommendations from like, from our CPA,
Mhm.
you know? So
Yep.
like, interesting. It's very interesting, these ideas,
Right.
I'm just curious to think like what's gonna happen if like the Trump admin will even read this article and consider any of these ideas.
Well, it would be, I mean, to add on to that, right? I mean, since we're on the line of dreaming and everything, wouldn't it be awesome? Because the goal is to flip as many as possible, right, Chia?
Right.
What if it wasn't a SBA loan, but a SBA line of credit? Once you're done flipping, you could reuse
Oh,
it and do another one. Oh my gosh, that would be
oh
incredible,
wow. Yeah.
right?
Hey, maybe that might be a product down the line that of financial gurus gonna come out with now.
And let's say who's to stop us from doing it from just properties? What about the businesses that are struggling right now? The restaurants that are struggling right now? What if we were able to do that? Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
I mean, jobs, so many jobs could be created from this that AI
I
cannot take.
think I think, to make these ideas come into fruition, right, for these private departments to come into existence, the Trump admin has to cut costs somewhere to redirect certain funds, right, to make these
Right.
things happen. Because
Of course.
obviously it needs to be profitable and it needs to come back to the economy to make it worthwhile, right? I mean,
Right.
yes, this is so that way we get more inventory into the market, so that way homes could be affordable again. Yes, but where are they going to get the cost to make these funds available, to make these private, like to make
No,
all of this come into existence?
you said it just exactly right, Chia. Because a lot of times we as taxpayers, right? Every time you vote yes for something, and we should, okay? But here's the thing: if we vote yes for something that could never come back and can never create more funds, then we're always going to have to put more money in there, right? But if we
Yeah.
can create something that actually can create and we invest, we use our tax dollars to invest as a nation, right? Imagine that. And we're investing in it by creating these jobs, by creating these businesses, okay, by creating a way for people to want to open another restaurant, to want to open more things that used to be more risky and now is not as risky. And with that help, with the SBA assistance and everything like that, to create that community sense and everything, I don't see why it wouldn't work, honestly, right? And the exchange in office, I know it's very controversial. We don't want to talk about politics and everything like that, but Trump has a real estate background, and maybe, okay, he will see all of this and say, hey, if we see it already, Chia,
Maybe
okay,
we should tag Trump.
right? If we, small potatoes as we are, see it already,
Yeah.
hopefully, he'll see it and his team will see it too.
Yeah. It can be huge, because
Hmm.
some of those ideas are already sparking conversations, right? So, kind of, speaking of conversations, segue. I'm curious to see what some of the comments are. The expectations of the quality of a starter home has changed over the last 40 years. When I bought my first house, the price was relatively low, but many upgrades were required to make it look nice. Today, people buying a starter home expects or demand to walk into an already upgraded home. Uh-huh. It takes work to upgrade a home. The trend should be for first-time home buyers to buy these homes that need to be revitalized and fix them up themselves. It is typically better to keep the government out of the market that can be best resolved by a free market. That's true,
Yeah.
right? You don't want the government doing everything for you, right? I like this idea too, put some grit into it. Shoot,
Yeah.
when me and Nali bought our first home, we bought it because it was affordable, right? And we knew that we could make it our own. So we updated it. And when we updated it after 2 years of owning it, we sold it. It was worth a lot more than what we bought it for. And then we bought this home. And it is so true. I think TV has made home renovations and flippers like celebrities basically to where now everybody is looking up to that and they want the same thing they're seeing on HGTV. So they expect the home to be upgraded. And I think this is so true. Like so many times I talk to like first time home buyers and they're like, man, I just want the home to be move-in ready. Move-in ready is not the same as fully upgraded. Move-in ready
Yes.
means you moved in and it's ready to move in. You can live in it. One question I always ask my first time home buyer is this. If this home is ugly and you are not able to buy it, would you mind living in it? And it's always, of course, I don't mind living in it. See, you could live in it if you were renting it. But now that it's your first home, you want it to be glamorized like you saw on HGTV. And I think a lot of first time home buyers have been blinded by that. And yes, it's not bad to have that imagination, that dream, that goal of yes, my first home is freaking fully decked out. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think if you there's a saying, I don't remember the exact saying, but then if like sometimes I'll talk to a home seller and then they would tell me, we've been here for over 30 years. We know every inch of this home. It's because they put a lot of elbow grease into it. They renovated it, they fixed this, they fixed that. They call people like Charles to come and inspect it every couple of years. They maintain it. They know every inch of the home because they revitalized it on their own. And so it becomes a home, right? And I think right now, me included, like don't get me wrong, I change phones like every year, every 2 years because I always want the newest thing. And I think for some first time home buyers, Thomas Franklin, that's what his name. That's where he's kind of getting at. Most first time home buyers expect the home to be upgraded already when they get it.
Right. Right. And you're really paying a premium for that too.
You
Right.
are, you are.
And what do we always say, right? Fall in love with your mortgage before you fall in love with the house, because that's where it makes sense. Make your money make sense. That's really what it is, right? And if you want everything under the sun, not only are you going to pay a premium for it, you kind
You're
of
you're
giving.
paying the convenience fee for it. Yeah, you get that starter
Yes.
home, it's fully upgraded, but it's gonna be part of your mortgage loan now,
Not only is
right?
it going to be part of your mortgage, but the more you buy your house for, you're paying property tax. So technically, you're kind of paying it for a really forever. If you keep the home forever, you're paying it forever through the property tax too.
Yeah, this is a good point too that Charles is saying. I see so many flippers do this. They make the home look pretty because first time home buyers see that it's pretty and then they ignore everything. They ignore the infrastructure of the home to make it last long. And this happens so much, right? You hear the term Mickey Mouse, cookie cutters. Like it's because that home looks just like every other home that investor just flipped because he wholesaled all those products and makes all his flips look exactly the same because it became a trend.
Correct,
That
correct.
style
Very,
is a trend, you
yeah,
know?
you're very, very right about that. And for us, I mean, I'm sure Chen can agree to this, right? It's like I'd rather if the home was didn't have tile. They had vinyl, something really, really ugly. One, and then I don't feel so guilty that I'm wasting. Okay, I'm wasting by pulling out an ugly colored granite top or something like that. And plus, a lot of the money when you're renovating, if it's tile and it's an ugly, really outdated tile, the demolition to remove that tile is many times
Yep. Yep.
more expensive than to actually have the new tile work come in. So
Yep.
I'd much rather to see something like really janky and cheap and everything like that, because then that way the demolition is so much cheaper and that I can come in and put my own taste into it. And
Yeah.
guys, you guys have Pinterest now. We have that.
That's true. You
So
let
many
your
ideas.
imagination just soar.
Yes,
Chain nailed
yes,
it, right? Sweat equity is worth it. Not
yes,
just worth it, but you're also gaining equity. See what I did there, Chain? You're also gaining equity when you do this. You buy a starter home and it needs work. You put some sweat equity in it, and you literally get equity in the home because now it appreciated. It's
right.
worth way more than what you got it for.
Right. And you don't have to do the whole entire work all the time. If you have bedrooms, start with one bedroom, start with one room, make it nice and everything like that, and work your way into it so that you're not stretched so thin financially and find yourself having to sell because you have to, not because you financially are benefiting from that.
Okay, we're gonna read this reply from Mike, and then we're gonna close this out. Okay, this is getting fun, but we're gonna close this out. So he says, I agree with you, Thomas, but many young homeowners, young buyers, do you know how many do you know that have any actual skills in trades? Okay, any trade skills. Back in the dark ages, my teenage years, we had industrial arts classes, drafting classes, metal shop, wood shop, and learn how to use tools and think about how to solve a problem on paper before going to the next level. The same held true for home economics, where we learned how to wash clothes, sew, make meals, bake stuff, plant vegetables. If it weren't for YouTube, half these new home buyers would struggle changing a simple light bulb. Maybe public education can start teaching these skills again. I
Okay.
agree with Mike, and
Yes.
then it's like a hit and miss, right? I love YouTube. Obviously, we're doing YouTube live stream right now because it makes it hard because like this, yes, you could definitely apply for all of this, but I think with the way school systems are nowadays, a lot of fundings are cut and people are redirecting the funds they do have to something else. So they're taking away from these classes. Because I remember going to high school, which is only like last year, um, there was these classes that still existed. You know, I remember during high school, I was like, oh man, that's cool. Like I learned how to work a saw, like do all these things, get my hand all greased up and stuff like that. But nowadays, nobody wants to do that. Everybody wants to pay somebody else to come do that for them, pay a premium, by the way, or 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 they know how to do it themselves because they're gonna learn how to do it through YouTube.
Well, see, here's the thing, it's because people get scared of what they don't know, right? And I do absolutely agree. If you went to a school in the last 10 years, okay, and you actually had this, that's a good school. That's a good high school, a good middle school. But most public schools these days really don't have this anymore. Mike was right about that. Now, here's the thing, if you guys don't know, Michael's and Home Depot has classes that teaches you how to do stuff. Home
Who's
Depot
gonna
has
go to that? They're just gonna watch the rerun, like how they're watching this rerun because they're not
it's
here right now.
hands-on. It's nice.
I'm
Not
just
only
teasing.
not only is it hands-on, you can bring your own stuff and create it there too. But I'm just saying that because we're gonna have to take off soon. If they were to do that situation for the flippers, first-time flippers, and giving these incentives, you know how like first-time buyers have to go to the first-time home buyer home
Yep.
classes?
Hmm.
Maybe they do the first-time home buyer flip classes, and they teach these people what to look out for when they're doing the construction work and stuff like that. I think that would be phenomenal.
Yeah, I think it's so funny, Charles. This is so true. I think, homeowners learning about all these things, it is crucial, but none of this is gonna even happen or become even a consideration if you're not a homeowner,
Yes, that's true.
right? And
Mhm,
like for
mhm,
example, I knew nothing about home, like any of the renovations or maintenance around a home until I owned my home, right? And then
mhm.
from there I started, and then from there Home Depot and Lowe's became my number one store to go to. You know, they're like my favorite store now, besides from Bass Pro and all that. But then like, anyways, so like when you become a homeowner, you start changing the way you think about a home now, about your home.
Right.
Because when you're a renter, you don't think, you don't have that, you don't really think about that because you already know your landlord's gonna take care of mostly everything, right? But when
Yeah.
you own a home, from the littlest thing to changing a light bulb to the probably most advanced thing of changing out a window or a door or a water heater, you're gonna start to have those skills. And then, like what Charles was saying, when you do a home inspection, you look at the reports that they generate, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I know what that is. Oh yeah, that dry rot, super easy to replace. Most first-time home buyers, they see dry rot and they're like, run away. And it's like dry rot is really not that big of a deal. It can be a big deal,
If it's
but
not taken care of, right?
if it's
Yeah.
not taken care of, but that's with anything. Low maintenance costs being handled right away prevents a big major cost, you
Right.
know? So like that dry rot, it's probably a 2x4 at Home Depot that costs like $2. Cut it out, replace it, put some nails in it, and then paint over it. You're good. No more dry rot. But
Right.
I think people, like what you said, people don't know what they don't know, and then they get scared because they don't know about it, and they also don't want to seem like a fool, so they don't involve themselves with it, right? So
Well,
this
I
is
think people
very,
get really overwhelmed because it seems like it's a lot of work that they don't know how to do. That's really what it is, right? But just like how you said that, Chia, dry rot is kind of like a cavity. Take care of it, fill it up, we're all good to go. But if you don't,
mhm.
and then the tooth gets gone, you have to put in an implant, and that becomes really costly.
Imagine how your dentist feels when they see that cavity. For you, you're like, ooh, but for them, they're like, oh, this is like the thousandth cavity I've
Easy.
seen this month.
Yep.
They're not swayed by it because they're so confident that they're gonna be able to fix it for you. And then after they fix it, they make you feel good, right? When you know enough and you're confident about home maintenance and doing all these things, it gives you a little bit more peace of mind, and
Yeah.
it's not so bad. It's not so bad. But first, you gotta get there. You gotta become a homeowner first before you can get there. Otherwise, you're just letting your landlord do all this for you, and they're robbing you of these experiences that you could be doing yourself, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think we're gonna close this out. Yeah, Lisa?
Yeah. Sounds good. That was a good one today, Chia.
Yeah, yeah, it was fun. All the comments, everything. Love
Yeah.
you guys. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for watching. Share this to anyone you know that you think might see value from it. Okay. But other than that, we're going to let you guys go. Chi Chi fans, we'll see you guys next time. All right.
Take
Peace.
care. Bye.